Koch stooges booed off stage in disastrous attempt to meddle in Montana's Medicaid debate. Dozens of voters shouted down paid staffers from a Koch brothers advocacy group that's targeting a Montana Republican lawmaker who wants to expand Medicaid. So this Republican lawmaker wants to expand Medicaid. The Koch brothers from out of state, through, I think it's Americans for Prosperity, one of their front groups, goes after this guy because he had refused to sign the pledge. Are you following this? There's a pledge. The Koch brothers have a pledge. State Representative Frank Garner has refused to sign a blanket pledge against expanding Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act, and Americans for Prosperity Montana is campaigning against him and two other lawmakers, State Representatives Jeff Wellborn and Tom Perry, who have also refused to sign the pledge. The Koch-sponsored group is blanketing their House districts with mailers that show each lawmaker, this is from Raw Story, that show each lawmaker's face superimposed over a photograph of President Barack Obama. So about 100 people showed up at this town hall meeting that was heavily promoted by Americans for Prosperity to trash the state senator. Nobody bothered telling the state senator that Americans for Prosperity was going to trash him in his own district, but he heard about it, and so he showed up. He says, I support their right to have an opinion. I just didn't like how they did it. They didn't even extend the courtesy of telling me about the meetings. What does that say about their intentions? He wants to extend Medicaid coverage to 70,000 low-income Montanans. But the Koch brothers front group, Americans for Prosperity, is totally opposed to this. And you know, this lawmaker is refusing to sign their pledge that they will not expand Medicaid. One voter said, and I quote, and here's what happened. Americans for Prosperity got up and started trashing this guy. And here's from the story, from Raw Story. Voters frequently interrupted the Americans for Prosperity presentation with laughter, booing, and other jeers from Garner's supporters. Keep in mind, Garner is a Republican. This is Oklahoma. One voter said, you have pissed me off. Character assassination does not go down well in Montana. If he has to take a pledge, then I want it to be the Pledge of Allegiance, because they don't represent you, they represent me. Another voter stood up to the AFP, the Koch brothers, Americans for Prosperity activists, and said, and I quote, why did you call this town hall meeting? I didn't get an invite. I wish I'd been invited, because I want to know how we get the Koch brothers out of politics. I want to know how we get you out of politics. And then the state legislator that they had called the meeting to attack, he stood up and he said, if the purpose is to make sure legislators know, then why am I the only one here? Why didn't I even get an invite? I promised people here when I ran that I would listen to you and not some out-of-town special interest, Garner said to wild applause. If every time they want me to sign a pledge card and I don't do it, and they're going to rent a room and have a meeting, then this is going to get real expensive because I'm not signing the pledge card. Who knew, right, that the Koch brothers even have a pledge card that state legislators have to sign? Why is this not in the news? Why are they not discussing this on Face the Nation or Meet the Press? Oh, that's right. Those networks, the boards of directors of those networks hang out with the same people the Koch brothers hang out with. I'm sorry, I forgot.